while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. There must be something wrong. I guess I thought.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to week one of the ISU Junior Grand Prix Series 2024 and day number 3, the final day of competition. I'm working really hard to get my voice back, but it's difficult. Mark, we have the free dance coming up. What do we see in the rhythm dance?
The rhythm dance was high energy music from the 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s. And the first team that took to the ice, Noemi, Maria Italia, and Noah La Fornara, led the field from start to finish. But they've got some stiff competition from the favourites, Darya and Michail, who trailed them by just over a point in second place.
Okay, the final event here in week number 1, the free dance, starts right now. Welcome back, everyone, to Riga. My voice is back as we fly over a beautiful river scene, and we over the arena here as well, the Volvo Sports Center, for the final event, the free dance, on day number 3, week number 1 of the ISU Junior Grand Prix 2024. I'm your host, Ted Barton, along with Mark Hanratty. Mark, we've had a lot of fun here. It's been, we're sort of back into it now, right? It took a couple days to get going.
Our groove.
Yeah, exactly. But the free dance, looking forward to that. What can you expect?
Well, within the free dance, it'll be interesting to see if there is a deviation in the energy and the style choice for the ice dancers, having had to pick that high energy rhythm dance. And so often of late, over the past few seasons, skaters have elected to choose some more contemporary and intense music for the free dance. It'll be interesting to see what we are treated to over the next couple of hours.
As we see the officials list there for this event, and you're right, it's interesting to see how dramatically different will the free dance be compared to the the rhythm dance. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be storytelling. So we take a look at the start order for the free dance. You got any more questions?
I'm not actually too sure. We'll check in with our media team, but certainly, I can waffle on for days anyway. Well, I think what we should maybe acknowledge, Ted, is just how exciting it was as we finished the men's event just now, and I don't know if we headed to just warm up ever so slightly.
We went outside just to warm up a little.
But the energy in and around the arena, because now 3 of the 4 disciplines have concluded their participation, and thus you sense that elation from some of the skaters and the coaches in knowing our job is done and we can relax a little bit and enjoy.
And the other thing I would say, that the excitement of these young skaters is here. It's infectious from team to team, and there's a camaraderie even though they have never met anyone from a different country or from that different part of the world. It's so, innocent's not even the right word, pure, I would say, with the excitement of these kids that come here, and the coaches as well. It's a safe, it's an inspiring, it's a thought-provoking environment, and we're so proud of what the ISU has done with the Junior Grand Prix to make this accessible to the world through the streaming, and to make it such a positive environment, and well done by everybody involved.
And it's interesting that you acknowledge that connection between the athletes. I remember mentioning yesterday the Latvian skater who competed in the women's event, Nikola Fomchikova, who's devoted an entire Instagram post to what skating has done for her in regards to creating global friendships. And I think it's so true. And the International Skating Union not only forges those friendships through competition, but also through the various seminars that are offered for the skaters.
Yeah.
And I'm conscious that the ice dancers regularly get the chance to take part, especially at novice and junior level.
And you know what, Mark? Not only in the skaters, coaches as well. They include the coaches into the discussion with the technical committees, of course. The judging, the officials community is strong. It's a big family. It's complicated, as every family is, because you're dealing with so many different cultures. But they're bonded. We are all bonded by the pure love of the sport and what we want to do best that we can for the athlete. So there's a commonality, if you will, amongst us all.
And even, as you mentioned it, the camaraderie, the friendship, and the connection. The technical panel in this ice dance event includes Kelly Shea, a former world medalist in ice dance, and Roxane Petitane, another former ICU championship competitor in ice dance for France. And that confirmation that the friends that these skaters on the ice now are making are likely to be friendships that they will hopefully continue to maintain and enjoy for decades to come as the likes of the technical panel here. I'm sure they're friends.
Now, to this event, let's talk a little bit about what we can expect from group to group to group, of course, because we know that after the rhythm dance, it's sort of set by the results of the rhythm dance itself. So what is the difference between each group that the new audiences can see?
So this will be a case of really eagle-eyed viewing for those that are new to skating, because it'll be very much the amount of speed and flow that will dictate the result within the ice dance competition. And as you see, the Finnish team, they're taking some forwards crossovers, a mohawk, and some backwards crossovers, which are some transitional steps, try to perhaps gauge the amount of ice they cover. So if you take a reference point from the barriers and how much speed that they're covering, that will have a big impact upon grades of execution for the elements and their components.
And I would also say in the first group or first two groups, the skating might look a little bit more struggled, if you will, or a little bit more, these are two strong words, awkward or struggled, but not quite as in sync. And when you get to the final group, you'll see things are a little bit smoother between the two partners. This is normal with the teams that haven't had the same amount of time, either practice time or time together, because it could be a new partnership, or just in learning the skating skills. So that is not to be critical in any ways. That's just the realities of junior competition, and that's the differences that you'll see from group to group.
And interesting, actually, it's very evident in this event and across ice dance competitions that age does matter, and unlike perhaps some of the other disciplines, older age in ice dance tends to be co-aligned with more success.
Yep.
As we look to two 15-year-olds representing Ukraine, Sofiia Rekonova and Denys Fedyankin. Sofiia Reganova and Denys Fidenkin representing Ukraine, and I think looking more comfortable with the free dance. Perhaps this was the first choice of choreography of the two programs for this team, and looking more at home with this than they did in the rhythm dance.
Yeah, they're early on in their development stage, of course, and in the partnership as well. So it's going to look at just a little bit tentative, if you will. But as they get more comfortable and more confident through more time, you'll see the speed pick up. And there's lots of work to do there. But this is good outing as than they did in the rhythm. And
actually, this team, looking through, the second youngest team of all those competing, and it is an interesting case study as to how age influences different disciplines, but certainly.
Yeah, both are just 15 years old, so I mean they look a little bit older.
Definitely, I agree.
And so really, they've got lots of time.
And here you can see synchronized twizzles. And still with this team, just even in the way that they hold their free legs, indication that they haven't necessarily had the same skating skills education together. As we see straight line lift, that 1 foot exit from Denys, a level feature as they come at a straight line lift level 3. The rotational lift achieves the level 2. And here in terms of assessing the differences between the different ice dance teams, certainly, particularly within the step sequence, we'll be able to recognize a deeper edge set.
Yeah, totally.
So level 1 for Denys and Sofiia.
You can see that shove for that sliding move right at the end of the program. And as we progress through these events, for those of you who don't know much about skating or just new to it, what you'll see, as Mark mentioned, deeper curves, deeper edges, softer knees, and more continuous flow. And sometimes that's hard to pick up, but you'll notice, look for that as we progress through the event.
Good to see. Shaping hearts.
One's giving the heart, the other one's saying, I'm just relaxing here. Oh, there we go. Here it is.
Happy days. Thank you, Denys and Sofiia. And certainly the Shape Hearts campaign can be more pertinent for this team. Positive environment for them to represent their country. And for that, we're grateful, and for that, I'm sure they are very proud.
Yeah.
And this team had a 57.45 at the Winter Youth Olympic Games in Gangwon, the place in which Sofiia, I assume, had her stuffy on her knee from.
Yeah.
But I think at this point in the season, still a little shy of that. And hopefully this event will kickstart renewed enthusiasm to return to training with the desire to secure higher PCS and technical element score.
And generally speaking, in the first few groups, there might be a little longer assessment time. There's more detail to look at with teams that are early on in their stages, in their development stage,
and also for the technical specialists this year, they have to be making some comparisons and cross references between the element features that are chosen between the rhythm dance and the free dance for the teams in both the lifts and the twizzles.
Yep.
So the introduction of some changes to the rules by the Ice Dance Technical Committee impact not just the skaters, but the tech panels as well, obviously, as they have to stick very clearly and confidently to the criteria.
And here you can see the skating skills for this team in the program components is around 2.93. So that's the standard sort of that they're at this moment. They can obviously continue to improve that, and will in time. We'll take a look at the scores for the free dance. That's 45.73. The first team out. And the total competition score of 71.24.
Next to skate, representing Estonia,
And now to 16-year-old Arina and Frederick Marillo. First Junior Grand Prix experience, and Frederick explained how very excited they were. Nice to see those smiles on their faces.
Love.
the can-can to conclude the free dance for Arina and Frederick. And a high 10 shared. And Ted, I loved, I referenced yesterday, participation of the event and how I could see before the rhythm dance their concentration and focus. And of course they were concentrating and focused, but I loved that there was smile evident throughout.
Yeah, totally. There was a couple times in the in this
really genuine smile.
was honest.
Yes.
He was enjoying himself. That wasn't, oh, I need to smile at the judges.
No.
I think he mistakenly smiled naturally.
In a very authentic
Yeah.
way. And actually, authentic smile is so much more endearing to see than the forced version.
For sure.
And of course, you have to perform as an ice dancer when it comes across with sincerity. We started this program, good use of holds throughout as we look at the rotational lift, and that being assigned a level 4. And the difficult exit. And here the 1 foot turns. All the teams have to complete 1 foot turns. So rocker, counter, and bracket. The choice of the combination. Most likely the one that was called to give them the level 1. And here, change of pose in the curve lift. To see for Frederick the need to be more mindful of the free foot extension, slight flex in the free foot. Showcases the disparity between the line from both in the team. And here, choreographic step sequence, 2 choreographic elements for junior dance teams. And many will choose choreographic step. There's a choreographic spinning movement, the other for this team. And Frederick explained that both he and Arina are both very musical as they shake their heart.
Frederick owns a big smile, doesn't he?
He absolutely
really
does.
Really lights him up. It's great. 53.51 for Arina and Frederick, and that is first in the free dance so far. Second team out with an 83.41. And they'll keep first place at least for another 4 or 5 minutes, or maybe more.
And now to another very young team in their first Junior Grand Prix. 13-year-old Marla Davies and 17-year-old Joseph Black. Well, I thought that was a really enjoyable performance from Mimi Marler-Davies and Joseph Black, the very young British team. And I think the first opportunity to see a more readily installed ice dance technique in their skating skills than that of the teams that we've seen so far. Very, very well matched. Testament to the time they spent together and the coaches they have.
Yeah, and I mentioned to you off air that it's hard to believe that there's 13 and 17.
Yeah.
And you had talked a little bit about that they have maturity performance.
Yeah, and I mentioned, I think yesterday in the rhythm dance, Joseph has performed in the West End, and he was an associate at the Royal Ballet. They're both part of this prestigious Sylvia Young Theatre School, and you can really see some of that in amidst their skating technique.
And that's going to lend itself extremely well as they move forward.
Well, this team, for their coaches, Karen and Alan, are kind of like the dream ice dance team. The only problem for them is that because they're so successful in other areas of their life, they don't get to train as often as would be optimal. So I'm sure an absolute joy to work with, if only they could get to work with them even more. Just a break in the rotation there for Mimi within the Twizzles.
But I'm really impressed with what we see from this team at an early stage of development. They've got good basic skating skills, good performance skills, good awareness, and similarly matched, right?
Yeah, brilliantly matched. And it's important to note what's even more impressive is that their coach Karen Quinn had explained that the self-choreographed parts of their choreo character step sequence, they've both done some tap dancing, so they lent into that awareness and knowledge, and their musicality too, so on point. And I think having coaches that allow you to encourage you to have your own input at this early stage is admirable, and how wonderful that they've got so much knowledge in the likes of tap dancing to be able to lean into that.
Do we have maybe a little Fred and Ginger here?
Yeah, happy days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And certainly not scared to approach the judges with confidence.
Yeah, exactly. Really nice.
And really for this team, I hope now that the experience of representing Great Britain on the international stage will ignite increased passion, because they're going to be pushed and pulled in so many ways when they're talented as they are in dance and in stage production. Everybody will want them, so hopefully ice dance will keep them.
Yeah, I hope so, because they certainly light up the ice, that's for sure.
Coach Alan Abretti here with them.
They seem to enjoy the attention.
Yeah, and I said they just seem such mature young humans. And I think, when Joseph explains that he's performed in so many West End productions, that, a bit like we talk so often about what the Junior Grand Prix offers the human, experiences like that shape a human so much as they are around other different people and see other people working hard and inspired by that.
Yeah, it gives them an impulse, an attraction to something like this, to this sport, which is performance and sport and difficult. And that's probably the most interesting thing, is when you do it and you can't do it and you want to do it and then you finally do it, that's addictive. And
it's interesting to think how this does compare for them to the other facets of their life. And certainly here, whilst they've done brilliantly, the coaches will have been saying to them, I'm sure endlessly, that there needs to be more power, speed, acceleration and ice coverage. I hope that this experience will have ignited that, and we'll see when they next compete.
Well, they have 66.74 for the free dance. That puts Mimi and Joseph currently into first place in the free dance with a total competition score of 109.55. They seem pretty happy with that. Need to work on that heart. That was a little squishy.
You're getting very
well, listen, we see it every time.
Yeah.
We see it every time.
We're going to be giving GOE points to the hearts.
Good. We want good shapes. Okay.
Yeah. And so whilst we've seen many teams in the early Junior Grand Prix experiences, Hilda Taylor has competed on the Junior Grand Prix before, but with did incredibly well in the rhythm dance, given the limited time that they've had together.
You said June.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Definite storytelling as Alexander Buchel stabs Hilda Taylor at the end of their free dance.
I'm shocked at how good they are for being only together for probably 6 to 8 weeks.
It's
That
amazing.
is amazing. Lots of room to work. There's no question, but that is together as teams take sometimes 2 years to get to that level.
Yeah, and
I mean, there's a lot of work to be done for sure, but wow, it's good.
And we have referenced perhaps in the pairs event how the value of them being here, although they would, of course, and their coaches would have preferred to have more training time by readying themselves for this event, although it's not optimal at the time that they've had, it will have forced that huge improvement over a quick period of time as opposed to waiting for next season. And here the arms clasped and extended in front of the body. One of the features from above the head. The second, and then this Group C feature, the third twizzle. And there's a chance to look at Hilda and Alexander's 1 foot turns. And that's where we'll see not that depth of edge.
Yeah, exactly. Not quite the depth of edge, yeah, for sure.
I thought this was brilliant.
Yeah.
What I was most impressed about is the conviction Hilda gave to that. And he was so braced and ready for it. And I thought
she didn't doubt. She had no doubt, no.
They've probably not done many reps of that, and he was engaged and ready for that back bend. I loved this. I loved the arm movements here within this to punctuate the music for within their choreo character step sequence. And again, this is indication of the type of humans that are ice dancers. So bold, brave, and confident to express themselves right in front of a panel of much older officials.
Well, I don't know about the age has anything to do with it. It's just your officials there, buddy.
I was always more scared of them.
Yeah, but not the younger ones. They're still judges.
Yeah. Neil Brown joins the team.
Good job, really good job. 65.81. That's second in the free dance with a total competition score of 108.88, and that'll keep Hilda and Alexander currently in second place. Much more to come, of course.
Amazing to have achieved what they have achieved in the time that they have. And as we move on to the final team to compete in this opening group in the ice dance and free dance, 14-year-old Eleonore Gabe and 18-year-old Maxime Ebuki. And they will skate to Puss in Boots and the Mask of Zorro. Another stab to end this program. What a shame. I hope Maxime is okay. A little mistake in the choreographic step sequence towards the end of the program. Good to see the connection between he and Eleonore. And otherwise, what was a well-constructed, well-paced and well-phrased free dance for the Swiss team. And I think, again, confirmation, I should do a further study analysis and perhaps thesis on it, but confirmation that elder age, more time together, has a direct correlation on this graph of success in ice dance, because it looked like it was going to be the strongest free dance. I'm not sure how much that will impact them. There'll be a mandatory 1 point deduction for the fall as we look at the twizzles. Left back outside, the first and second twizzle have to come from a different edge and a different direction of rotation. And actually spinning on that third twizzle for Eleonore, not sure if she will get that counted. And here, a chance to scrutinize the depth of edge in the 1 foot turn sequence. Pretty good left inside open choctaw. And there the rocker for Maxime. And actually, this team the first, I think, to achieve at level 2 in the step sequence, the style B, and that indication that at least 2 of their difficult turns were each called clean by the technical panel. And that just indication of generally better skating skill. Difficult position for Maxime on the outside spread eagle. And this team choosing to do a combination of 2 short lifts. The junior dancers can do either 2 short lifts or 1 combination. And here, legs looked a little tired just there.
You'll see this fall right here.
Oy, 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 oy.
I think, he stopped and she kept going.
Yeah. And the impact of that for the choreographic elements, too, of which in the free dance, it's all about the grade of execution. The points for all of the choreographic elements are the same, 1.1 at base value. The GOE is the big thing the couple strive for, and a fall forces the judges to be negative. As coach Katja Lanninger joins them in the kiss and cry. I think, Ted, I overheard Katja explaining the distance that the team traveled to be able to train with them.
You mentioned that yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I heard it from Coach Cedric Pernet. And I overheard Katja saying the same. Yeah, and we just, we're the beneficiaries of that commitment because we get to see and enjoy.
64.21 for the free dance. That'll put them third for the moment, with a total competition score of 108.33, and that will also keep them in third place. The number of teams yet to come. Group number 2 taking to the ice. Were you ready to go to video here?
I was ready for resurface time. Sorry, guys.
You were in warm-up, or for the ice resurfacing. Okay, as we take a look at the start order for group number 2. What do you got for us here? No questions?
Yes, actually we have had a good question that has come in.
Why do you have the Michael Jackson glove on again?
Oh, it's just because the right hand is used for note-taking and fact-checking. The left hand is cold. And
It's not even cold in here. What are you talking about?
I've not. You know what? I've been. I came prepared. All my warm layers of clothing.
You did.
You're taking a picture, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. And so I have, as the days have gone on, got a false sense of reality because now I think that it's tropical.
Wait a minute.
In the Volvo Sports Centre.
Your eyes were closed. You have to try that again. Keep them open. There you go. I think I'm going to post that on my
That's going to go on social media there.
Oh, yeah.
So a question that has come in, which is a very, very good question, is what do we think of the International Skating Union's new solo ice dance initiative that launched earlier this year with some internationals taking place? There was one in Helsinki and Washington, D.C. I know there's actually one in Blackburn in a couple of months' time in north of England.
I absolutely love it. And I'm going to tell you why. My daughter did solo dance, and she was really good at it. And but there was nowhere really to go with it, and that was a number of years ago, of course. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it keeps people involved in the sport, this beautiful sport, for a longer period of time. Second of all, there's some wonderful skaters who just don't like to leave the ice and jump.
Yeah.
But their edge quality, the performance is really spectacular. And we don't really have a discipline for them to express their abilities both physically within skating and artistically. And I think it's wonderful. And also, I think you'll find more dance teams matching up because they'll say, oh my gosh, look at that partner. Wow, I got to try that. So I don't see anything bad with it. I don't see what would possibly be considered to be, why wouldn't we do it? Right?
Well, it's interesting you mentioned
I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned about the formation of new teams because actually the Estonian ice dancer who competed earlier in this event, Arina Bayajeva, she competed in one of those junior solo events in Helsinki this year, and now she finds herself a few months later teamed up in a partnership. And for me, I think I don't know how controversial I want to be with this, but
Neither do I.
I know there are a whole multitude of reasons why the solo ice dance competition has its place, and multiple reasons. For many women, it's a struggle to find a partner because our sport hosts many more female participants than it has male, and so thus
not intentionally, by the way,
not
it's
intentionally,
just the way it was, yeah,
just the way it is, and thus a lot of women, constantly pursuing the opportunity to compete and showcase all of their hard work and investment, but a partnership might not present itself, and so that really does offer a great opportunity. And then furthermore, I know of some ice dancers, some very good ice dancers who just either haven't been geographically close to finding a partnership, or actually also physically they may be too tall or just might not work out. And so now this opens up a whole host of exciting opportunities to travel internationally, to represent your nation, and to push yourself in daily practice with an objective and a goal to get excited about.
I completely agree with you, and I listened to every word you said, but I didn't understand where was the controversial part.
Okay, I'll go with the controversy is that our discipline, and I think it's certainly changing, there was a period of time whereby there was a prototype match that people conceived had to be a necessity, where it was like the male had to be one head taller than the female, and there had to be this balance of the correct limb length so that you would make the most aesthetically beautiful line. And I think that some coaches who have been raised, reared and brought up with that, and that's how they were taught and made to believe, then they'll cast aside some bodies that don't fit that mold from making a partnership. And I know some people who have been upset to think, well, I don't have the right look, so I'm not going to be allowed to have a partner.
Doesn't this resolve or help?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. So I was just confused. That was the controversy of before.
That was a controversy before, but now it's giving opportunity to all.
Thank you for the clarity.
Being less.
Once I pulled it out of you.
Thank you. Thank you for making sense of some of my ramble.
Okay. No. I just wanted to clarify. Okay.
And it'll be interesting actually to see how that discipline does develop. As mentioned, there are international events for the ISU in solo ice dance, and I wonder if that'll go into Worlds.
I'm looking forward to it. It may take a while for it to grow internationally, but once people see that it's possible internationally, they'll get more engaged in the federation. That will develop it. Then it'll fill up the international field.
Well, it's interesting that there were already some skaters that competed who I know had been in partnerships that then have reverted now to do solo dance.
Oh, wow.
I've even heard rumours of some really successful skaters internationally in other disciplines saying, I might give that a try.
Oh, I can see you say, okay, get rid of the partner because I want to do solo dance now. Okay, here we go. The new young team from Japan.
And indeed the youngest of all the teams, Sumire Yoshida and Ibuki Ogahara. And this free dance is to a Netflix soundtrack. A live animation of a Japanese anime called One Piece. Well, Sumire, Yoshida and Ibuki Ogahara from Japan, and the green lights on the top left-hand corner of the screen indicate positive grades of execution. There's so much that I could talk about. I find that quite fascinating in the approach and the focus towards this free dance, as other very successful members, in fact, the winners of the men's and the women's event, cheer ringside alongside other members of the Japanese team.
Okay, let me end here, because I don't know a lot about the technical part of dance. Well, whatever. I love that. And you know why? Because it wasn't just good dancing, and maybe it's not the top team yet, but this is something new and innovative. They're bringing a youthfulness and cultural aspect.
Yeah.
And so they're bringing something new to the field of ice dance. That was outstanding.
Well, it's interesting because the sort of die-hard ice dancers, I'm sure, will be nitpicking the fundamental stroking and the way in which that they...
And fair enough. I mean, to a certain degree, yeah.
And that's right. You can see the way in which Sumire and Ibuki hold themselves. Doesn't have quite the same level of posture and extension mindfulness, but what I so admire from what Kathy and the team have done is she's picked a piece. She explained it's this Netflix soundtrack of a Japanese anime. Now, I've seen other very successful, famous Japanese skaters using anime as their choice for exhibitions. I suspect Kathy's done that to keep this young, very young team engaged and excited. They're both still single skaters. Kathy's trying to develop Japanese ice dance. She's picking something to bring them over.
Well, I can pretty much guarantee you no other team in the world would be doing this piece.
No.
Who's going to do it for culture? They wouldn't even know it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is, brilliant choice. Great work by Kathy Reed. No question there. Wow. That's really exciting.
And also,
look at the energy here.
Well, that's what
and
I was
the characters.
mindful of. Yeah. And perhaps the character-driven piece is made easier because they're connected already with the anime. I'm not sure, but whether they're connected with it or not, they look absolutely committed to it. And again, that lends into that presentation component score. Judges looking for commitment and engagement with the concept.
Yeah, that is simply awesome. So fresh, so new.
And what I also want to acknowledge is that Chris Reed also taught them at one point, so it's so wonderful that his legacy lives on.
Yeah,
and I think Kathy just nodded to him
Kathy,
upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, that's fun. Freedance score 74.86. They're looking. Kathy's going, oh, that's good. That's good. For Sumire and Ibuki, 125.51 total competition score. That will put them in first place. I think we've seen, the birth of a new star.
That's exciting. That's a bold
in the
statement.
galaxy.
Happy days.
No, there's something unique and different. We'll see how it continues to develop, but obviously they have a great start. Kathy Reed's doing a great job. Now the pressure's on. Right.
Well, now we go from Japanese anime to Phantom of the Opera for Sofiia Deval and Wiktor Kulesza. or rather obviously not Phantom of the Opera. That's the free dance that they used last year, Pilgrims on a Long Journey. The piece for Sofiia and Wiktor Kolesha. And I could delve deep on this too, Ted, because there was so much complexity in what Sofiia, Wiktor and their coach Sylvia have done within this. The transition, some of the features that they chose for level and some of the holds even within the transitional content, so difficult, so complicated, and thus more prone, more risk averse, and that was obvious when it came to Twizzles at least.
When you get a brand new spectacular pair of shoes, they don't always feel the most comfortable.
What a good
they
analogy.
Fit, and you have to break them in a little bit. This program is spectacular. I love this program. It needs to be broken in. Look at the detail of this. And there has to be isolation in their movement, and each one individually and together as well. And that simply takes time to get the timing.
Like Madison Hubble and Zachary Donahue.
Exactly. I think this is, I'm looking at this thinking, oh, wait a minute, are we junior or are we watching senior? Okay, it would be...
Well, it's also interesting, especially in comparison to the Japanese team that I've just skated, because this team has a much more ice dance technique and style.
They're more mature skaters, more...
But within that, it's a little tighter because it's so precise. Some of it is a little bit more akin to the kind of compulsory dance technique that would have been of yore. And so I feel like if they could inject some more speed, it's weird. I would suggest that actually it could be easier, but their skating skills, component score will benefit from less complexity. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, how cool is that? Like, you guys are nuts, but amazing.
That's the entry into the Twizzles. I mean, it was a little costly in the...
Well, that actually, because this year the couples aren't allowed to repeat the same feature, so they've taken that difficult feature for their Group C, but obviously that would have had the potential to really boost the grade of execution, but the mistakes there on the second Twizzle prevent it. This was the choreographic assisted jumps, and they were brilliant. Again, complex, intricate, as are the holds here towards the end of the program.
But you can tell it just doesn't have enough mileage yet.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I really like this team as well. They're always so nice to us. Always so friendly.
They're all friendly. All the kids are friendly.
Yeah, true.
Some are scared of you, but you know.
I think so. Maybe they're less scared of me. That's what it is. I mean, I don't think I'm scary. But
No, you're not. You're Mr.
just
Jovial.
too energetic.
I'm the scary guy.
No, I think maybe my energy's kind of scary.
Okay, enough about us. Let's talk.
Okay. So anyway, the upshot of all this is the program's brilliant.
Yeah.
We have, I mean, the amount of time that must have gone into the creation of this, I hope that they had a lot of fun because they've come up with some brilliant material, and now please take our opinion that it's brilliant. It just, as you say, needs mileage.
It doesn't really matter, but I think we can see the brilliance in the potential, right? It's the program has the potential to be brilliant, but it's got a lot of work. It's like that new pair of shoes, got to work them in.
Yeah, and the team have had some changes this year. They've had to relocate their training base with Sylvia, and so hopefully with some more consistency on many fronts, then the program will just grow and develop. But what is again evident, as I said, in the rhythm dance is they're united, and I love that.
And I know Sylvia, we talked about the rhythm dance, and she said, "Oh, did you like it?" And I mean, okay, I'm not the dance expert to ask, but I love what they were doing, and I love this as well. And don't change, like keep going, because you're on the right track, but sometimes you don't know you are.
Yep.
And be different, be innovative, be good, and that takes risks sometimes.
And this team competed on the senior ranks last year as well. They did the Europeans, and this program does give a very senior type of feel.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Yeah.
Maybe the YMCA was their nod to more junior rhythm dance, and then the free dance. And again, in acknowledging the YMCA that they chose for the rhythm dance.
Contrast. You know?
So.
But hey, we're not sitting on the panel.
No. I think I can understand why the score. I don't think they're going to like the score, but I can comprehend why the components will be low and why the GOEs will be low. I can, based on the criteria the judges have, they can't reward this for all the hope of it.
But I think they can change these numbers.
Yes.
With more rep. 72.32. That's second in the free dance. Total competition score of 124.86, and that is second for the moment in the free overall in the competition. But in my opinion, they're on the right track. It's not there yet. They need more mileage, more repetitions, more competition, more confidence.
And now to the first of the two French ice dance teams, Eva Bernard and Amedeo Bonetto. They had strong program component scores, but mistakes were made in the elements on their rhythm dance. Hoping for a clean free dance. Well, Coach Karine Haribert had acknowledged when we praised the choreographic character step sequence that she's created in the past that she had some special ones this season, and what a wonderful way to finish the free dance for Eva Bernard and Amedeo Bonetto. But it's yeah. Yes.
absolutely perfect to get the concept of this piece. And today, just a little off, it's early in the season.
Yeah, completely. This seems to be the most common choice of difficult feature. We've seen that a lot this event already. It's just weirdly landing on the toe pick, and whenever the lady comes down forwards, she needs to place the back of the blade down first. That another example of one of these difficult entries, and it is great. This competition already showcasing the Ice Dance Technical Committee's reasoning for that new rule about the Group C feature, and it is giving us more video. Good difficult entry into the rotational lift. A couple of options for that. Either a difficult pose or a change of pose, or the man tries to rotate through 6 rotations. And here the choreo character step. So here the judges have some positive features, and so much of this lends into that. I wonder, with this brilliance of musicality, whether or not Karine and her team are so conscientious of the music choice, because she finds every nuance in the music and works within the beat.
Well, you can see what she's trying to do, and I completely see it. It just needs to be perfectly in sync, and then it'll be genius. Right?
And this is where now we have to remember that we're dealing with humans here, and there'll be so many factors within this, because this ice dance team, their training mates are here. But they're training mates, and they will be fighting for coveted spots like Junior World Championship representation, and so there's a whole mixed bag of emotions, because they will have been expected and hoping to be the top French team here. They had mistakes in the rhythm dance, and they've now unfortunately had mistakes in the free dance, and so Karine has to work hard to try to help them see their potential and the vision that they have. And you can see that, you can almost sense the aura of Karine trying to extend out to Amedeo to pull him into her.
She's trying to not let him
lose him,
go down on him, lose him, exactly. And you can say, no, you stay with us, stay with us, stay with us.
Oh. And that's
sometimes it's hard to believe. Well, who said this already this week? I didn't like the music in the beginning. I didn't believe it. Who said?
That was the winners of the rhythm dance, Noemi, Maria Talia, and Noah Lafornara. They were saying that.
Did not believe it in the beginning, but they did in the end. 74.41. That is second in the free dance. So that's between the Japanese, and 128.10 overall for the competition. So that puts them currently into first place, even with.
Okay.
It may not be exactly where they want to be. They want more points, but they are in first at the moment.
And now costuming here dictates another complete departure. And this team will skate to The Artist, channeling the black and white silent movies, the story of 2 actors, George and Pepe. Aurea 50 debut and Earl Jesse Celestino with the program choreographed for them by Jean-Luc Baker, brilliant ice dancer himself. And I think, Ted, something in the water here. I think that, or maybe it is just as we have seen in the other disciplines, early season tightness, and there were just a few misholds and miscatches. And this team, obviously both brilliant skaters, they've been skating together for 8 years, so they will not be prone to that kind of thing in training, but adrenaline of competition and pressure of Junior Grand Prix changes things.
Well, I'm going to change the analogy from shoes to a new outfit. It takes a while to break things in. They need to wear this differently. It just takes time. We'll see throughout the Junior Grand Prix series, we'll see them probably second time, all these dance teams. We'll see significant difference even in the very few short weeks.
We did the Quebec summer event and the Next Gen camp, and there were 11 points between those two outings of the free dance, and I think that just demonstrates that they're still bedding it in. And I think the program is complex, and that's when it's complex, as you can see in that difficult entry into the curve lift, and there, that similar position that we've seen from others. The complexity, as I've said before, without wanting to sound too repetitive, brings high risk. Here though, as you see the 1 foot, you can see more flow, more glide than others that we've seen, and thus higher quality of skating skill.
Yeah, the quality overall in a program and the details only get ironed out through repetition and through time. And we're seeing the first ironing.
A little fin step action here. Well done. I was thinking, I wonder if Ted's going to catch the bit of the fin step compulsory dance.
Yeah,
sure
fin step. The fin step, Sarah. I saw that. Yeah. What?
And I have to say, struck by Aurea, reminded me of a young Cristina Carrera, a member of the US World team.
Little bump there together. You're right. Yeah, Cristina Carrera, absolutely. Who's also Canadian, by the way. Just want to let you know.
Well, I could go down a rabbit hole there, so I'm not going to. So Benjamin Brisebois joins them. Benjamin doing such a brilliant job in supporting the Ice Academy of Montreal, and he
works with a lot of the development teams.
Really doing
and he's on the Junior Grand Prix a lot.
Yeah, incredible job in feeding some brilliant juniors on to those that we get to enjoy on the Senior Grand Prix and at Senior ISU Championship events.
And they also have the likes of Pascal Denis, who's also a synchro wizard, 3-time world champions with his team, but he's also a dancer and works with the dance teams as well. So.
And then you've got, this team has had Jean-Luc Baker and choreographed the free dance. They've had Laurence Fournier-Baudry choreographed the rhythm dance.
They have built smartly a community of people who care about each other and care about the discipline, and they help each other continue. So it's pretty cool.
Very cool. And I think it's for some other coaches in the ice dance community think, oh, they've got a stranglehold, but respect to what they've done, they've just, excellence has been created.
The schools have been there for 10 years, and then another school takes over, then another school. This is what happens.
So they've had a 76 and an 87 this year, and unfortunately it's near the bottom end.
77.91. And that is first at the free dance with a total competition score of 133.07 or 70, pardon me, and they will take the lead, at least for the moment. There is a look at the leaderboard, top 5 teams so far in this event.
And now from the artist, we've had Japanese anime, we've had the can. Michelle Dish and Ryan Hugh performed to Romeo and Juliet.
The whole variety show.
great admiration and respect for Michail and Ryan, who composed and conducted themselves incredibly well towards the end of the free dance after what was a very difficult and I am sure painful fall, and their teammates applaud them as they process that. And interesting, if any of you know anything about epigenetics and energy, it seems like the energy in this event is certainly transcending from couple to couple, as more mistakes being made than we would normally conventionally expect in an ice dance competition. And we just so hope that Michail and Ryan aren't.
And that fall was so unexpected because we didn't actually see them lose balance, and you know how things could then tumble down. It was so quick. We do have it on the replay. We will show it because they weren't injured on that, but we'll see what happened.
And here, glorious extension of their left leg in the feature. And this so unique and innovative exploitation of his single skating skills. You're not allowed to stop in between the twizzles or before the twizzles, but I suppose he didn't really stop. He did, however, check the rotation on the second twizzle, and that seems to be a recurring theme this year, the change of the features, making it more difficult for the teams. Straight line lift, change of pose.
See what happens. Oh, just that, yeah. Well, thank goodness.
And they were all tangled up, and so it wasn't easy to unfurl themselves to be able to get back into the program. And so then consequently the judges, as a percentage of the components in the presentation, that is going to have so many implications on the score. So whatever they receive here, they've had a couple of events already in the 80s, their score at both Lake Placid and in Dallas, but it can't be that because of that mistake, unfortunately. And this team has had great success as novices, and now this is their first year as junior, and they certainly look, you know.
Oh, no question. The quality team, we see that.
And that, you know, largely akin to the great education they've had from the coaching staff, the illustrious coaching staff that they've got. But, you know, I mean, falls happen. I mean, the world champions, Madison Chock and Evan Bates, fell at the Olympic Games. You know,
they had to have a fall. This is the best place to do it. This is all a learning thing, and that fall will not happen again on that lift.
No. Choreographic slide to conclude the program.
All the things.
Natalia joins them.
These, I know we always say this, but it's so true. We're old dogs. We've been around for a while. We know that those painful moments bear such wonderful fruit.
Yep.
And it just takes time. They're painful at the time because you don't know why it happened, and you don't want it to happen, and nobody intended it to happen. But there's a reason for it.
Yep.
And there'll be a benefit down the road.
Now you just want their families to rush in and give them a hug and support them through this. Look how mature they are and trying to control their emotions with the
65.68, that's 7th in the free dance, with a total competition score of 121.85. That'll put Michail and Ryan currently into 5th place.
Natalia just checking that her team are okay.
So we take a short break during the ice resurfacing with our final video installment before the end of week number 1 of the Junior Grand Prix. What do we got coming up there, Mark?
Well, a great chance to listen to the interviews with the winners of yesterday's events. Mao Shimada, the winner in the women's event, and Zhang and Huang, the winners from China in the pairs competition. And then a chance to look back at the comeback, the video so brilliantly edited of Diana Stellato-Dudek's comeback to the sport, triumphant in her win at the World Championships earlier this year.
As I said, great content. We hope you enjoy it. We'll be back right after this.
Omedetou gozaimasu. Congratulations. So you were the expected favorite coming into this competition. Were you excited to start your new Junior Grand Prix campaign?
またこのジュニアグランプリシリーズにまた出ることができてとても嬉しく思ってます。
I think the skating community is very happy that Mao is back. Now I understand that your new free program is a Japanese piece of music choreographed by the brilliant Laurie Nickel, and the theme is the 4 seasons of Japan. Is this right?
はい、合ってます。
Excellent. And I also understand that your short program to Wicked, you also went to meet the lead performer in Japan of Defying Gravity. Is that correct? I'm sure that was a huge inspiration if that was the case.
本当で、 少し質問もさせてもらっていい経験になりました。
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, Mal, in this event, you're obviously the favourite. You're the two-time and reigning junior world champion, and you maybe did not need to push yourself as much to win the title here, but you chose still to include triple axel and quadruple toe loop. I understand also in practice you're aiming to push yourself even further. I gather you might be working on quad loops as well. Is that the case?
で4ルーツも少し練習してるんですけど、まずはアクセルと4回転トーループが安定がまだしていないので、そこをメインに今年もやっていきたいと思います。
Amazing. Well, you've won 2 junior world titles already. I imagine that is the goal for the season. Do you have any other goals for the remainder of this season?
今シーズンももちろん世界ジュニアで優勝したいという気持ちはすごいあるんですけど、それより私は表現力も評価してもらえるようにしたいので、ジャンプだけではないところを見せていきたいです。
Well, I think I just wanted to extend our thanks. I think the skating community is just so grateful. I'm glad to see you back and wishing you all the success for the rest of the season.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。Jiaxuan, Yihang, congratulations on winning your first Junior Grand Prix. Now, I understand this is your first competition internationally together. That's correct?
我用说中文吗？首先我很高兴可以代表我的国家来这里参赛，然后这也是我作为我们两个搭伴以来第一次的参加国际的赛事，我很开心可以来到这个地方来比赛，因为不管是这个地方的一些文化，还有这些地方的一些冰场和设施，都让我们非常的喜欢，然后这一次比赛我们发挥的还算是比较理想。
And did you have any expectations or goals coming into the competition?
我们其实来这里的第一目标就是想为国争光吧，代表我的祖国来这里嘛。第一的肯定是为国争光，第二呢就是希望有一个能拿到更好的一个名次，来证明自己吧。因为毕竟是第一次出来比赛嘛，还是希望就是能有一个很好的一个开始。 对，起到一个很好的开头的作用。
So you've won your first competition, your first Junior Grand Prix. We're keen to know what are your goals for the rest of the season.
我觉得其实不一定说是每一场比赛都会有可能，都会百分百的会拿到第一名。所以说在每一场比赛吧，还是要去跟自己去较量，而且每一次的比赛遇到对手，他也会不一样 ，it's different。所以我觉得还是要是跟自己比，然后把每一个动作都做到最好。
把我们自己的水平都发挥出来，发挥到最好的状态。
Huge congratulations. Now, can you teach me some Chinese? Maybe thank you. I can say thank you.
谢谢。
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 Good. Okay. 谢谢. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And the note card I happened to pick was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And I just immediately blurted out, oh, I would win an Olympic gold medal. My name is Deanna Stellato-Dudek, and I am a pair skater for Canada.
The reason Diana is so special is, and for her, it's Olympic every day.
I think what attracted me to figure skating in the first place was the freedom that you feel when you have the wind in your face and you're skating around the rink, and also the artistic expression, what you can do with your arms and feet while you're gliding. It's difficult to describe. It's unlike any other feeling that you can get in shoes.
Deanna Stellato. She is 16 years old and perhaps the most focused of all the skaters here, the last one off the practice ice.
When I was 17 years old, I sustained a hip injury that was very common at the time. It eventually ended my childhood career, my 1.0 career.
She retired and then never come back in skating for 16 years. She didn't think about skating.
I think retiring at 17 was very difficult. You're too young to really deal with the severeness of that decision and how it's going to affect your life. I had a normal job in the States. I worked for a plastic surgeon in a small private practice, and we were at a work retreat, and we were just doing a fun little exercise over lunch where we all picked up a note card and said, read the question out loud, and then everybody around the table would answer it. And the note card I happened to pick was, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And I just immediately blurted out, oh, I would win an Olympic gold medal. And then I kind of sat back in my chair and I was like, what? As everybody else was answering, I was like, what did I just say? I haven't skated in like 16 or 17 years. Like, that was a random answer. That was the catalyst that began this entire thing. So I guess I'm super lucky my mom kept those skates for all that time. I went for a first public sessions. I would get up at 4 in the morning to go skate in the morning before going to work my full-time job. And if I had a day at work that was like a 12-hour day and it was impossible for me to get on the ice, I would just make sure that evening I would do like a workout tape or I would stretch, but I would do something toward my dream every day, and I never broke the chain for 3 months.
Her dedication to the sport, to do what she do at the age she is unbelievable. She have to do so much more than other people to be able to do it. We train as much as the other younger skater, but on top of it, she have to do way more back home. She have to recover 2-3 hours a day so she can be ready for the next day. If not, it's not gonna happen. We knew the pressure would be super high being here at home, where I'm born, where we train.
When I got on the ice, I just heard the roar of the crowd and like, okay, let's breathe, we can do this. That pressure is motivation and motivation is pressure, and it's a thin line that separates them. When we got out there, I just looked at him and I said, we got this.
Crowd was so supportive, and it's give myself and Diana goosebumps as we were skating. It was something we'll remember for the rest of our life.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final day of competition, the final flight, the free dance. Medals will be earned in this group.
Yeah.
Really good start to the Junior Grand Prix.
Yeah, it really has, and although this ice dance free dance has been littered with mistakes, it does only serve to help us appreciate the complexity of this discipline as well.
Yeah, you know, it's not the mistakes. To me, if you've got weak skaters, you know, early developers skating clean, that's wonderful, but the standard is at a certain level. The standard of these athletes is really high, not all, but many of them, but they're making some small mistakes. So they're pushing the limits. They're more complicated programs. It's still in August.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's September 1st. Yes. So we're still in August. Right. We're just in August. So it's early on in the season. So this is completely understandable. If we're seeing these mistakes happen, you know, at the very end of Junior Grand Prix, that type of different issue.
Well, and that becomes much more potentially mental or pressure, as opposed to now it could be just lack of training time and stamina and fitness. But we've had some questions.
Oh, okay.
And
Were they legal ones?
Yeah, interesting ones. And
Okay.
you know, it's actually the most interesting ones, the ones that are the kind of controversial ones that are the most interesting but make me the most nervous. So the question coming from underscore.
You confuse me. Okay. Go ahead.
Mate underscore 140. Can you skate as a boy with white figure skates at ISU competitions?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any color.
Ruling, or no?
No, not at all.
Indeed, I think somebody can skate with
pink skates.
Do you remember Oksana Grishuk and Evgeny Platov 94, 98 Olympics? Well, in the 98 Olympics, she skated with blue boots. There
you go. Okay. So the answer is yes.
The answer is yes. We are conventional and stereotyped, but the world is ever changing, and it's interesting to note that will, I'm sure, transfer across to our sport. And you know, I've seen changes. The women are now allowed to wear trousers.
Yep.
That was not the case before. We have had a question in from @crystal_ice_LV, and that is the team that are responsible for so much of what happens in this rink, and they have said, do you want some ice cream, guys? I can report we have very gratefully received your ice cream, and thank you very much for looking after it.
Yes, and you ate one. I didn't. Just wanted to know I'm keeping myself in really tip-top shape for such an old guy. But anyways, carry on.
And will we be, from @valentine.skater, will you be commentating on all of the Junior Grand Prix events?
I believe we both will be there. Yes, we will. We're actually, just to give you an update, both Mark and I will be going to Ostrava. I will move on to Bangkok, and Mark will be remote. I will go to Turkey, and Mark will be remote. Gdansk, either both of us or one of us. And then Ljubljana, you're on site. I'm remote. And then for Wuji, China.
And a comical question from @princess_Nakachi. Was there a special dish that you treated yourself to before or after competition?
Yeah, banana splits. In those days, banana splits. I load it up. We get strawberry and chocolate and vanilla with some bananas and some chocolate and some nuts.
Well, finally, ice cream was always the indulgence that I splurged on afterwards.
Yeah, I guess so.
So there you go.
Of course, then I had to be wheeled out of the in a wheelbarrow.
Rolled out.
Yeah. Good questions.
Yes, thank you again. And in this final warm-up of the event, opportunity for us to thank those that have sent questions in, and also urge those to join us over the remaining events. And indeed, if there are any skaters listening that are competing in subsequent events, please do let us know anything you would wish for us to share.
Yeah, check us out on Instagram, and we would love to get your questions and your input to help enrich the stories and your journey to the audiences that listen worldwide as we enter the final group in the free dance and the final event here in Riga.
And now to the first team to compete in this warm-up group, Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Thierrin. I mentioned that they had a concussion in the off-season or earlier this season, so they're not quite back to full preparation. We hope they will be comfortable throughout this free dance. Sandrine Gauthier and Quentin Thierren. And you know, I was worried because I know that they had the concussion. They had a concussion, I think, last season, which ruled them out of the Junior Grand Prix then. And so then the concussion that was incurred this year, they've had to be obviously very mindful of and very cautious of to make sure that they're both okay. And so in the rhythm dance, there were mistakes made, and so I feared how they would go in this. But that free dance looked like they were really attacking, and they want to obviously be on the podium to repeat the success that they had a couple of years ago here.
It's a fine balance. You can't move forward by protecting. At the same time, you can't go crazy and be wild. And it's a fine balance. But these athletes are in good shape. They're well-trained, well-taught, and they're confident. They just had to get over that concussion and get back at it. And we saw that in the free dance. And
again, a great vehicle, great thematic choice, the Robin Hood piece.
Lots of sound effect in there.
Yeah.
By Hugo Chouinard, and I think it really added to the choreographic steps coming towards the judges. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, the awareness of the musicality so on point as we see the stationary lift. I think that's the first stationary lift that we've seen in this event.
Yeah, it is actually.
Is surprising. There, the rocker into right forward inside bracket turn. That
level 2 for them both. Oh, sorry. Level 2 and level 3.
Oh, nicely done. And the twizzles were perfectly phrased with the music, forcing the grade of execution to be better.
4 for Sandrine and 3 for Quentin.
Just that spin on the last rotation within that second twizzle, probably the reason he dropped a level. But they were so close, and they were so close in the rhythm dance. I was scared, but the proximity of the partners will push the grade of execution up.
And here's the choreographic step coming right towards the judges, and all those arm movements were accentuated with a sound effect of swords. And
the music reminded me of Katarina Witt's return to the games in '94.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you know, it's amazing what they do. I am to have so many different themes, concept stories.
It's what I most appreciate about that group is that they keep something unique for every individual. You don't see the same.
Ideas.
No. And the big smiles on the kiss and cry. You know, they're happy that that free dance went extremely well, 91.29. That is first in the free dance. Wow, with a total competition score of 147.88 as they take over the lead with 4 teams to come.
Next to stage, representing France, Louise.
A new pairing of Louise Bordet and Martin Chardin, and they skate to Toxic. Well, interesting that Louise Bordet and Martin Chardin, despite the fact that they are a relatively new team, have skated the cleanest
Oh yeah, totally.
of all the teams.
I mean, again, I'm not a dance expert, but I'm going, that's got to be the top. Because that was, they haven't been skating that long. Like,
No.
how long? Like, I'm surprised. I didn't know that. I didn't read that, but incredible.
But, we rave about the choreography of Karine Aribert and her team with Michail, but also the technique, their stroking, the angle of their pushes from all of the skaters in that Villard de Lans training school is always the same.
Equal.
And I think that I guess that she must do group classes for the technique, because it doesn't matter who the partnership formations are, they've all got the same style and technique, making it easy to team up as we look at
the depth of the edge. The flow through this 1 foot was amazing. Level 3 for Louise and level 2 for Martin.
And that flow, thanks to the knee action that they have, and here, difficult entry. Good expression from Martin as well, and such a difficult feature exit. So not only level 4, but good GOE. This is a choreographic slide. It looks like a lift, but because their hands are touching the ice, it comes in as a choreographic element. Playing with the options of the different choreographic choices. Really good back outside edge there. The rocker turn looking strong too. And that which was what we discussed at the start of the event. Ted, you said, what can we see as the difference separating the teams, and certainly the depth of edge for Louise and Martin was the greatest.
And what a great first set of twizzles, and they come through that both level 4 with a plus 1.14 GOE, so that was added to the quality. And they have a 7.98 for that one element. And here it's the choreographic steps coming right at the judges, and kind of the performance element, if you will.
Absolutely. And the judges will be defining so much of that with the musicality and the interpretation. And rotational lift saved as the final elements. An interesting planned program content, saving a leveled element to finish rather than a choreographic one.
Wow. Loved it. Great job by coach, by skaters. Going to need a 90.23 to take the lead. They've got that, 91.44. That is first in the free dance.
Oh gosh, and how difficult now for Karine Aribert, because she has one team that are elated and happy, and she has one team that's frustrated and sad. So.
And 149.11, that puts them currently into first place. There are 3 teams to come, so they're not guaranteed a spot on the podium, but they're next in line.
Yep,
we'll
ready and waiting.
Happens. Exactly.
And now to the brother and sister team of to La Terre Vue du Ciel. More incredible costumes. Caroline Mullen and Brendan Mullen.
When they first took their position, it reminded me of royalty.
Oh.
There's something very royal-like about this
Yeah.
couple, about this team.
So, yeah, regal and so elegant. Realization and a choice that's feel is not as fashionable as it maybe once was. It feels like people are going for more storytelling perhaps in this, and yet when you do it as well as that, it absolutely holds its own.
They made it their own.
Absolutely.
Look at that. Beautiful.
Really enjoyed it.
We saw the score, the technical score, jump up to 52 in the last two elements. As we see the 1 foot section in here, and that's level 3 for both Caroline and Brendan with a plus GOE of 1.77. They took 7.87 on that first element.
And, you know, it's amazing. Here, the difficult entry, I really appreciating the choices that the teams are making with the Group C features and the twizzles. They're both students at George Mason University, Caroline majoring in neuroscience, Brendan in computer science. And they've also got, we've met their parents, and they've also got 2 brothers who are championship swimmers as well. It's just a family of superhuman elite beings.
I so admire the parents.
I don't know, how did they do that? How did they get over here and manage all these humans? If there was to be anything, I thought the choreo step sequence, there was a little bit of fatigue starting to set in at this point. And I thought Brendan did a great job of maintaining his core. And here, just a little less refined at this point, which only gives opportunity for growth and development for the program as the season goes on. And they want just that. They have lofty ambitions. They want to finish in the top 3 at US Junior Nationals to be possibly selected for Junior Worlds. And they've laid down a performance here that...
Well, this team has pretty much everything. It'll be how they continue to push and improve all aspects, but it's already there at a high level. Let's take a look at the freedance scores. 95.36, that is first for Caroline and Brendan. Total competition score 156.42 as they take over the lead, and they're on the podium.
This, but I think Ruslan and Caroline are being kind of casual and calm about it, but Brendan's like, yes, that was amazing.
Yeah, now they've got a shot. They've got some points there to work towards the Junior Grand Prix final in Grenoble in early December. The competition's not done. We have 2 more teams. They'll set the medals. This last year's top team here.
Will be wanting to move up from the 2nd place that they find themselves in after the rhythm dance. Such an emotional performance from Darya Grimm and Michail Savitsky, a team that have gone through a lot lately, and you could sense that emotion being channeled perfectly into the Adagio piece in their free dance.
Well, you know, Mark, you know, maybe it's because I don't know much.
Ignorance is bliss.
No, I know, exactly. I'm going, it really impresses me, the level of ice dancing at this junior level. It really does. It's amazing because not long ago, this would have been top senior.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't mean this team. I mean a number of these teams, right? And it's early on in the season, so it's very entertaining. Excellent work by coach and skaters. Yeah.
And I think also what's great with Darya and Michail is that we see when, you know, we've talked about the brilliance of the same coaches that we see producing so much brilliant work, but Darya and Michail bring very different level feature choices. So we're seeing, you know, they train away from a lot of the other best teams, so they're picking different choices inspired, but with others in their training environment, and sometimes it's a blessing for only being around maybe one other team as opposed to a whole host of other teams because they have different feature choices.
Yeah, and they're inspiring themselves.
Yeah, the only thing with Darya and Michail that I would suggest is that their leg lines don't necessarily match as cleanly as maybe the likes of the French team that we saw. So sometimes the range of turnout, or the range of point, or the range of solidified between them. So you can see here just the free legs not as matched in each of the types of extension. So perhaps when it comes to the criteria for unison and oneness, that'll be their area of improvement. But wondrous choreographic hydroglide movement. There's 7 different types of choreographic choice, and I think this is the only team to choose the choreographic hydroglide, and they do it brilliantly.
And well, will it be enough? 98.37 is their personal best. They'll need a 94.47 to take the lead, and it's going to be ever so close.
And I think, you know, knowing what the team's going through this season, it's great that they have pushed themselves to compete here, united. And thanks to Neil Brown for supporting them here. Carolina Herrmann, also the German team sports psychologist, also here as part of the support network for these young skaters. And actually, when they debuted last year's free dance, they had some more sticky points then, so they've come out with the debut with a clean skate.
Yeah. Free dance score 94.36. That is second in the free dance. And you can sort of see that a little bit, nodding their head back and forth of the total competition score, 156.33, and that'll put them in second place with one team to come. They're on the podium, maybe not the step, the wish to stand. Look at how close that is. 156.42, 156.33. Wow. But it's good that it's that close. May not be pleased with the color of the medal, but it's not 5 points behind.
And now to the leaders after the rhythm dance, Noemi Mariatali and Noah Lafornara. And they skate to Love Story. Wow. I think the scream of elation comes ringside from Coach Walter as Noemi, Maria Tali and Noah Lapornara conclude their free dance, and the love story music synonymous with the Olympic gold medal of Jamie Saleh and David Poletti in 2002, but the ice dancers able to express even more perhaps. And
well, we've often talked about that.
And I don't know about you, Ted, but for me, I could sense or see Noemi and Noah had improved this season in the rhythm dance, but the free dance, because of the different, the restrictions of a rhythm dance tend to make that cover less ice and it's a little bit more tight. This was a chance for us to see how much flow that Noemi and Noah have, and immediately skating skills were
they've certainly
the best.
improved, no question.
And just here, this 1 foot, the rise and fall of their knees and their ankles facilitating such massive ice coverage, which will help both that element but also the skating skills component.
Great ice coverage of that first set of twizzles, amazing. Blue line to blue line.
And that right back outside edge, just seemingly endless. Not sure, he checked a little bit, she reacted. And it appears that Noemi dropped a level within the twizzles. And this was amazing, the readjustment of blade placement.
Right.
So agile and quick, because that could so have easily been, nearly game over for that combo lift, and that would have been catastrophic for their score. And here, choosing to do some almost doubled up choreographic elements with choreographic sliding movement within the choreographic character step sequence. Can stop an unlimited amount of times within it, provided it doesn't go over 5 seconds. And look at the passion, and I think that was a toe step with the music, which shows the subtleties and nuances that the team have worked on. Massimo Scali listed as one of the choreographers.
There's the quietest coach that I know.
It's funny because he's so hilarious, and yet you can see he's moved with emotion for the performance.
Yes, absolutely.
I hope that he's going to be very excited, Charlie.
I think so. 98.31. Naomi and Noah win the first Junior Grand Prix of 2024 in the ice dance. The 161.26 total score for the competition. And I think they're happy. They don't show much emotion, those Italians, and it's hard to tell, but I think they're pretty happy with that.
I just have to check in with some of my friends as to check when the last, or if, an Italian ice dance team has won a Junior Grand Prix. I have to check that. That'd be interesting.
It's a blur. You have to check with your friends. As we're going to take a look at the final standings, and of course, Michail are the top three, and look how close it is between second and third. It was a good competition. It's early on in the season. We saw some mistakes, there's no question, but we know this is only going to get tighter and more exciting as the new teams come along as well, with some other good teams coming up over the next few weeks.
Yes, and just like the men's event with Sena Takahashi, great to see the cleanest skate becoming the triumphant one.
Yeah. Hope that you'll stay with us online for the medal presentation. Mark, you've got interviews to do.
Let's go.
We're going to do a wrap of this week a little bit later, but it's been a terrific week. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And we will be joining you all. We hope that you'll be joining us next week in Osava, Czechia, and from there we'll be there for the 3 days, long days of pairs, singles, ice dance. It'll be a long week just like this, but we love it. We'll be back. For all of us here at the ISU, for Mark Hanratty, I'm Ted Barton. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the medal presentation.
First, and winners of the gold medal from Italy, Noemi and Noah. Please welcome the President of the Latvian Olympic Committee, Eva and Amedeo. Please welcome the President of the Latvian Skating Association, Uldis Sauers. People award with flowers. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand up for the national anthem of the winner. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand up for the national anthem of the Bernard.
Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. There must be something wrong. I guess I felt. Since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. There must be something wrong. I guess I found out. Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. Been a while since you felt like this. There must be something wrong, bro.